While this episode will pretty much cover, what is actually going on right now with the blow up with the new American Party, it's important to understand how we actually got here. First off, we pretty much everybody knows at this point Elon helped Trump tremendously to get him elected. 250 million, some people say 300 million, but we all know it's over 200 million. What did he expect to get? I mean, he knew that Trump is purely transactional. That's how he's always been. He probably just thought it's essentially a bribe in the long run. I mean, all billionaires like to bribe presidents. And last month, I actually did an episode where it's explaining how Trump is actually worse than Elon. He's actually taking the money and putting it directly in his pocket from the American people. Check that one out. So let's recap. I mean, Musk is appointed to DOGE. Everything does not go quite to plan. He claims he can cut $1 trillion, $2 trillion in, waste, whatever. Then we find out like 100 billion ends up being the final number, and the numbers were grossly misstated on a website they created to track it. 8 million became 8 billion, completely out of control. So I truly believe that it went so poorly. Trump knew he had to kind of like step away from his co-president. And you know what happens after that? Essentially, Elon is now mad, more so than just the big, beautiful bill, which we're going to go over in a second, which is why he's so mad. But really, he kind of just got screwed. He is the scapegoat for Trump. It was a pretty genius move, really. Like, I want to really make the government dysfunctional, get rid of all the people that oppose me, did a great job at that, and then I'm going to cut them loose. You can't tell me some of this wasn't in the back of his mind. He knew the American people are not going to be happy with slashing veterans' benefits or closing VA hospitals, but he needed it done anyway because he's got to make room for that big, beautiful bill. So let's cover that, why Elon absolutely hated it, and you should too. One of the few times I'm going to agree with Elon on this one. So the first thing that we should actually look at is like what the senators thought of it. Here's the Alaskan senator, Murkowski. She carved out at the last minute all kinds of exceptions for Alaskans, basically another version of a bribe to make sure that her constituents get what they want while everybody else just gets screwed. Let's watch her responses to these questions.
Senator Paul said that that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my.
That's what Senator Paul said.
Look at that glare. She doesn't know how to answer. She's like,
Question was easy. Senator, we've got the
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska.
That's the one true thing that she said.
And I live up to that every single day. I fight for my state's interests, and I make sure that Alaskans are understood. I work hard to take care of a state that has more unique situations, more unique people.
Another word of saying these are more unique. They are special, and they should get what they want, but the rest of the 49.
And it's just different. And so when people suggest that federal dollars go to one of our 50 states in a, quote, bailout, I find that offensive.
That's what happened. You got a special exception because otherwise you wouldn't accept the bribe, and then the stupid bill wouldn't have passed.
I advocated for my state's interests. I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No.
Do I like the bill? No. Will I take a bribe, make sure Alaskans get it? Sure. Do I like the bill? Then you don't have to vote for it. That is how simple Congress should be. We need people. Like, we're going to go over, like, starting his American Party. Obviously, Elon is not the person to do that, ever. But this lady just screwed over 49 states because she got what she wanted. She just said that she didn't like the bill. Then why would you vote for it?
As I tried to take care of Alaska's interests, but I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we moved through an artificial deadline.
You didn't have to meet the deadline. These people act like they don't have any power. You were elected by a bunch of people, your congressmen, your senators. Do what you want.
Artificial timeline to produce something to meet a deadline rather than to actually try to produce the best bill for the country. But when I saw...
Just chill. Don't vote for it. Say no. Let the 4th of July pass. Let Trump not get what he wants. And then maybe you'll actually have some power and you can stand up and grow up a spine.
the direction that this is going, you can either say, I don't like it, not try to help my state, or you can roll up your sleeves.
So she said it, not me. Didn't like the bill. There was tons of Republicans. You guys got to look this stuff up. I mean, they really didn't like it. They just pushed it through because apparently Trump is in charge, and King Trump, or I guess the Republicans call him Daddy Trump, told him to do it, so they did. That's how weak they are. So after it became clear that things weren't working out with DOGE, obviously Musk was on the way out. Probably addicted to ketamine too much. Maybe that affected some of his decisions. But then here comes June 5th. First bit of the fallout. Essentially, Elon just decides that I'm going to start accusing Trump of being in the Epstein files. Maybe he actually is. Who knows? That doesn't really matter. He's still a person. He feels like he got took, basically. He felt like he's not going to get what he wants in this big, beautiful bill. Did a bunch of ketamine. Everybody's so mad at him. His stock is losing. He's losing all kinds of money. I understand. I understand how you can feel like, oh, maybe I'll save money. Maybe he came in with good intentions and actually thought, like a right-wing conspiracy does, that there was $2 trillion to save. Obviously, there wasn't. Already went over. It's $100 billion max and probably less. Okay, so first things first, Musk has been at this for about a month, bashing this bill. Obviously, it passed it on the 3rd, and then Trump signed it into law on the 4th or the 5th, can't remember. So he was against the national debt. So that is huge, guys. Like, our debt is outrageous. Our interest payments go up. We get stuck with the bill. It's basically going to be left to future generations for the most part.
You mentioned Elon Musk, and we're showing pictures of the two of them in the Oval Office. He has increasingly been posting on social media what he thinks about this spending bill, and in terms of the antagonism, it is growing, and his central,
which we're going to cover in a minute, it's getting out of control now,
theme and thrust is the size of the potential growth in national debt, and pointing out today the amount of interest the administration is already paying on the national debt, and that's set to increase even further if this goes through.
And it did go through, but this is just the beginning. So that's the first step here, and then more things happened. Then it stops being civil.
How mad do you think President Trump is going to be when he finds out that Elon Musk said, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it.
Look.
Anybody notice that the cross has been missing? I mean, she really should not be wearing a cross up there.
The president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it. There.
And there you go. That is their position. It doesn't matter what the public thinks to them or any of that. So Elon is pretty much right. Before Americans even had a chance to digest this bill or even understand it, it's already through the Senate, the House, and signed by the president. It was already underwater before it went in front of the House and the Senate. So why did we pass it? Because of all of the stuff in it that he can give money to his rich friends, cut Medicaid, and make sure he does it in 4 years from now, so that way he can leave whoever else is left holding the bag. It's very similar to his casinos. And Trump also claims that it's going to cut spending somehow while adding $3 trillion to the national debt. I think they need to hire some new economists. So Musk, for his part, after calming down a little bit and claiming that he's going to go work on his businesses, which desperately needed him, he came back with a roar, especially right before the bill passed and now even after the bill passed. It does take a tremendous amount of EV credits from the American public, and, it's an electric car company, so I get that. But what did his $250 million buy him then? It sounds like Trump will throw anybody to the wolves.
Musk, the world's richest person, taking to his social media site X to say, "We live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom."
Not wrong. It does seem like both parties don't really have a grasp on what they're doing, but it's really Trump. I mean, the Republican Party, they don't actually exist anymore. There's no fiscal hawks. They don't believe in anything, of course. They believe whatever Daddy Trump tells them. So that's the political party on that side. And the other side, doesn't really know how to get back in power. In a lot of ways, they are just weak at presenting themselves. So they really got to get it together. Otherwise, we are certainly going to end up with a fascist dictatorship. So here's Trump's initial reaction to what Elon had to say.
Some deals have been made.
Elon Musk starting a third party.
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion.
I truly believe it'll probably take votes from, obviously both sides. But it'll hurt the Republicans more than the Democrats because most people on that side, Republican side, are going to see some of what he's saying as true because they're supposed to be the ones that are fiscal hawks and really oppose this bill. It's completely lopsided at this point. Democrats are supposed to be the ones that give away all the money for, social programs, and Republicans, obviously do take them away a little bit. But they're not interested in adding money to the debt, which this certainly does.
And some deals have success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so he really doesn't know what he's going to do yet. So, that's a pretty appropriate response here. We do need more parties. Everything, just one or two people to choose from. They should make it like the primaries. So how did we get here? Essentially, we're becoming kind of an oligarchy, authoritarianism mix. So Elon helped Trump get into office by donating, over $200 million to his campaign. That should be illegal. I don't know what this is. Obviously, whoever has more money, especially if it's 10 times that amount of money and an infrastructure, they're pretty much going to win. So where is the campaign finance reform? Anyway, that's for another day. So let's go over some of what is actually happening. Where's the feud at now?
Over, Elon, just take off.
Musk spent millions of dollars underwriting Trump's 2024 re-election effort and had spearheaded the downsizing agency DOGE, but stepped back in May. Around that time, he said Trump's bill would bankrupt the country and called it a disgusting abomination. Critics say the bill will significantly
disgusting abomination from the world's richest man
add to the U.S. debt load and damage the U.S. economy. As their feud escalated, the president threatened to pull billions of dollars that Tesla and SpaceX receive in government contracts and subsidies.
Sounds like a king to me. It's like, oh, if you threaten me at all, I'm going to pull the funding from you. Same thing is happening all over the country. If you don't do what I say, Harvard, I'm going to take some of your funding. Other colleges. That's pretty much how this is going. It's all transactional. It's all threats. They don't get what they want. And the fact that these people are kowtowing to Trump all the time is a sad, sad sack of sorries.
There were signs in mid-June Musk was trying to repair his relationship with Trump. Musk posted on X that he had gone too far. But last week,
he did that because he thought there was still some hope where he would convince him not to do this. That's, my guess, but it sounds kind of right to me.
Musk began criticizing Trump's bill again and vowed that in next year's midterms, he would unseat lawmakers who supported it.
I found out that in the Times, and essentially I like the idea, but it's just going to cause a bunch of problems. Like, what if the Republicans still win? He spent a ton of money to get all of them out. Maybe it would be even worse. Now we got a bunch of people in there that don't know what they're doing, but maybe it would be better. Essentially, they'd all have to come in, either do their job. What my suggestion is going to be is I think we should vote every single person out of the Congress. It's every 2 years. Whoever comes in, find out whoever the incumbent is, vote against them. It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrats because nobody's doing their job.
Then on Saturday, he said he would establish the America Party. A day later, Trump posted that he was saddened to watch Musk go completely off the rails and be a train wreck the past 5 weeks.
It was way before that. He was doing ketamine while he was cutting the government, barely sleeping. He looked like he was on drugs. You ever see him do this kind of stuff? I don't even think he knows where he's at half the time. And now that he's sober, he's kind of like looking at stuff like the right way. I just think it's one of those things. He woke up after the buzz roar off, and now he's like seeing things clearly.
Meanwhile, investment firm Azoria Partners said on Saturday it will postpone the listing of Tesla ETF, which was set to launch this week. It raised concerns Musk creating a political party posed a conflict with his full-time responsibilities as Tesla CEO.
Obviously, that was a complete waste of your time, bro. All you had to do was run your companies, not have a giant, spike in your stock as he came into office, and then just a complete devastating drop. You could have just kept it growing, but now it's all screwed up for you.
Azoria CEO James Fishback also reiterated his own support for Trump on social media and encouraged the Tesla.
It's essentially just a fear-based regime at this point. The reason these guys do that is so that way he doesn't come after them with the full weight of the federal government. Because now everybody's bought and paid for. So, all we have is loyalists, even though that is not how this country is founded. We're going toward authoritarianism. That is the end goal, apparently, with this administration. All right, guys, and in conclusion, that's what's happening. I'm sure this feud is going to get bigger and bigger. I'm sure more contracts will be threatened, probably actually taken away. I'm sure he will use some of his money eventually to primary people, but I don't understand why he just doesn't go back to the Democratic Party. He would have to have his tail between his legs, but you could go back to that rather than being, Daddy Trump's little, This is Lies of the Orange Era. If you want, fact-based information that is not completely right-wing or left-wing, then come find me, because that's what I'm doing here.